Yo, what is going on? A lot of stuff has been happening. Let's get right into it. I graduated school, college, which is an incredible accomplishment. Really proud of myself and pretty excited to see where the next, few months, what will happen. I get the feeling that I'm gonna live up these next few months like crazy. I'm just gonna start doing like crazy shit now that the noise of school and grades isn't in the back of my head anymore. Just want to cover that right now. And I want to tell you about some insights that I've been thinking about recently. One of them being the importance of environment. This is something you've heard 100%, but if you want the cheat code to achieving your goals, like, trust me, remember this, right? Because I was this close to pinning Reddit TrueTide. Like, literally a week ago, it was like fogging my head, and I was like, maybe I don't have the level of discipline, maybe it's so much easier, right? I should just pin this thing and it'll make my life so much easier. And to be honest, like, Reddit isn't really that risky, right? It's becoming pretty common, and I don't think there are too many like bad side effects. I don't really necessarily recommend it, but I don't think it's that bad. However, the truth is, like I don't actually get that hungry. For me, like, cutting weight is actually, and like cutting fat is actually really, really easy. The only issue is that once my environment is bad, I get cooked, right? Because I'm always like just a product of my environment, and I feel like we all are, right? And I don't know how much you wrestle with it. Maybe you have a lot more discipline even when like snacks are around. But for me, once the cookies are around, once the ice cream is around, once I'm with my family, once I'm with my friends, once I go to the all-you-can-eat diner, I'm cooked. It's just my personality. I do love eating. Like, eating is great. It's a really nice feeling, but like, I also don't mind not eating. Like, when I live by myself, which I'm by myself right now, my refrigerator is pretty much empty, and I don't really like care enough to like go to the store to buy shit, because I'm naturally like a pretty big saver money wise. So I don't like use DoorDash. I don't really do that much shit. I'm kind of just like whatever, right? I think I don't even track it anymore because I'm really not that hungry like right now. Like, when I'm by myself, I don't get that hungry. The second I'm with my family, the hunger kicks in, right? And it goes to show, I'm thinking to myself now, like, how the hell was I ever considering pinning Reddit TrueTide? I'm already a decently lean guy. It's just I'm like 18% body fat or 17%, and to get to 10% would be freaking light work. The only issue is just like not living by myself. The only reason why I'm out there right now is because I wasn't living by myself. So if you're one of these guys who's like maybe feels like limited, like they need to like use some kind of drug, or like there's this like big excuse that you can't get to your goal, it's probably because you're not in the proper environment. And the second you get into a better environment will change the complete trajectory of your entire life. The second I'm by myself, I get lean. The second I'm around guys who are working hard, I start working hard. If you're around 5 guys and they're all doing push-ups, guess what? You're going to be the 6th guy doing push-ups, because you're going to be the odd one out. And that's really the cheat code to life, right? Really just putting yourself into the situations that you want to be in, and hopefully those situations being success instead of being around a bunch of guys who are doing drugs, and you become what you think about, right? So not only necessarily thinking like, oh, I need to pin Reddit TrueTide, you need to actually have the better thought of, hey, maybe let me try putting myself in a better environment and see how that works. And it sounds like oh, just put yourself in a better environment, blue-pilled advice. It's like one of the best pieces of advice ever. You do not need to pin these random drugs. You do not do not be like me, who's really considering Reddit because you can't get lean. Bro, your genetics, maybe they're below average, right? Maybe you naturally stay skinny fat, but you don't need to pin Reddit. You just need to eat meat and stop being around environments where food is really, really common and like everybody eats like a fat ass. Maybe your family's like that. Maybe your friends are like that. Maybe you become like that because of those habits that were ingrained to you when you were younger. And as soon as you go to an all-you-can-eat place, you're cooked, right? And I'm that kind of guy, right? I usually do that shit when I do go to an all-you-can-eat place. But when I'm by myself, or hanging out with some friends, gonna go out like an hour to a bar, I don't really give a fuck, right? I don't really like spending money. I'm not really a big spender, so I just don't eat. Yeah, that could go into any field you want to consider, right? So in e-commerce, right, you want to start posting on YouTube, just put the camera out and start doing it, right? If you're around like your family constantly, they're constantly talking 24/7, you're around a bunch of dips who are making YouTube videos, but like their videos are like trash and they get like 20 views, like me, not really, but like, you're going to be always a byproduct of your environment, and the amount of money that you're making, or like the position that you're in right now, is just a byproduct of your environment and like who you're around. When I was making like 15K a month, I was just around people who were making like 10, 20, 30K a month. And it was like that. I just became the average, right? You'll always become the average of your surroundings and your environment. Really, really important, which is why socioeconomic status matters, why the people you hang out with, like how good looking they are matters, right? All these things matter a lot because you'll just become the average. Yeah, and another thing that I was thinking about, this will be the last thing I leave off on, is like it was this TikTok and it had like 200K likes, and it was like the reason why cheating feels good, not cheating as in like cheating on your girlfriend, but cheating as in like cheating on a test and getting a good grade. The reason why it feels good is because evolutionarily you're conserving the energy that it would require you to work really, really hard to get a result, right? So let's say your ancestors, when they wanted to freaking kill a buffalo, instead of chasing it for miles and miles and miles, they would have an unethical strategy of like leading the buffalo toward like a cliff where it falls to its death, and it makes eating it a lot easier, right? And like making sure that you stay alive longer and survive better, right? And I know it sounds really simple, I'm simplifying it, but like there's a lot of like hacks, right? There's like everything in life right now is a hack. Like AI is like a hack, right? TikTok is like a hack for you to like learn some kind of information. Like there's the ChatGPT is like a huge hack. Like naturally as humans, we're always trying to optimize whatever requires the least amount of effort to achieve a goal, and the least amount of stress and the least amount of like hard work, and and what will secure your survival and allow you to win, essentially. And I don't want you to reject this, right? Because if you see on the mainstream media a lot of like, this is like a huge thing that I realize, and I really, really want you to understand, especially if you're a young guy, because I'm gonna really center this really well. This is really, really important. When I was younger, like I was always pushed on hard work, right? Like Tate talked about it, like David Goggins talked about it. And, I was always pushed on like ethical stuff, and I'm a moral guy, right? I try to be moral, right? However, look, you're in a animal kingdom. This is so important for you to understand. You're in an animal kingdom and you don't realize it yet. It's literally the exact same as it was years ago, except the immediate threat is not as immediate, but it is there, right? The person you end up marrying will end up affecting your entire genetic line for the rest of hundreds of thousands of years, and how successful they are and how much struggle they go through, right? Because if like you're not able, oh my God, my brain's like, oh, this is like such an interesting topic I want to talk about right now, right? Okay, I'm gonna break it down like this. I have a good friend of mine. He's a nice guy. He's good looking, high tier normie, plus comes from a really great family, rich, nice guy overall, really good personality, Christian. I like him. He's my boy, best friend actually, or one of them. And he's pretty moral, right? So like he's always about like hard work. Like he believes very strongly in hard work, how you need to really work hard and diligently, and that's how you reach success. And the hard, like he doesn't want to do like immoral stuff. Like he doesn't want to be able to like cheat the system and be able to get something fast. Like he never like cheated on tests in school, right? He never really like did this kind of stuff because it was just like not right. And I think he has a really good point, right? I follow Jesus, I follow God. I think I understand where he's coming from, right? But he doesn't understand that it's not immoral for you to cheat on an exam. And here is why. And I don't want to sound like a demon trying to convince you, right? But the reason why is because these school systems that keep you in place are even more immoral than you. The people keeping you in this spot, the people that like the schools that are charging you an arm and a leg for this tuition, are keeping you at a certain level so you can't rise to the top. And they're using specific systems, and the professors are just following protocol and getting the previous exams from the last year, and probably wouldn't even be able to ace it if they did take the exam again. They're giving you this stuff, and you're torturing your freaking mind. You're torturing your body. You need to always have the stress about studying for the exam when there's a device that allows you to take a picture of the exam and give you the answers like this, that requires no energy on your part, where you could channel your energy into other areas that are more important. And those other areas that are more important, you could even find loopholes for that as well, right? And I used to like feel bad, like when I would tell some people this, like I doubt you're like this, right? But like when I would tell people this, they're like, oh, cheating on exams is bad. Dude, it's Not because the systems are bad as well, because you don't realize the competition that you're in. You don't realize what you're competing with. You really don't. You don't. Like, everything is against you. You're like, okay, if I did, like, let's say if I was like my friend, right, and I studied for all my exams and I just used my brutal competence and I spent all the time in my house studying for all these exams and everything like that, and I did study for exams, but like, obviously, I did shit to like be able to get better grades, and maybe I would not have gotten into the college I'm in right now. And if I didn't get into that college I'm in right now, I would have a slightly lower sexual market value and lower social status. And if that happened, I may have not been able to get with this one hot girl that I got with, or maybe I would not have been able to date the current like girl, not the current. Okay, I've been talking to her again, but like my ex, right, that I dated for like a year and more, and like their family owns a business, right, and I would probably maybe end up being with a lower quality girl if I didn't have these certain assets, like being above a high mid-tier normie, or being like, I don't know, going to a great college or whatnot, or having like a nice voice. All these things are assets. You need to play to your strengths. And you got to use everything possible to come out on top, right? And like this is why facial surgery is a thing, right? Because it allows you to cheat the system. Like you're going to be able to cheat your genetics to trick the bloodline to be able to allow you to reach a higher level. And this all comes down to the intelligence. So you're using your intelligence to get you further, which is another asset, right? And all these assets compound to allow you to finally be with a 10 out of 10 genetically kind of woman. I know everybody has like different souls, and I think it's good for you to like try to be with a woman. It's not just about like genetics and looks, right? You want to be with a woman who actually has a good soul, good personality, right? But like that personality will also be the line of what, like, how your kids are raised, right? So like my mom wasn't with like she only was with my father, right? And that's ideal when it comes to a mother, right? I would not like it if my mom was with like 5-10 guys, because I feel like that would raise me differently. I would develop differently. I would have worse values unconsciously, and this is like little things that add up. And if you end up marrying like a woman who maybe she's not your type, but like she was the best you could get, right? Or maybe, you maybe could have gotten a better girl if you were in a better environment, but since you didn't cheat in high school, you got into some shitty ass school, and now you're, work at some community college, and the best girl that you could get is like some 6 out of 10 ran through girl who doesn't really have great morals, and you didn't ever got out of town, you never changed states, you never traveled, you never met these people who had like really good connections and network and whatever. You had so much potential, but you weren't in the right area, in the right rooms, and then you end up, ending up short, right? And then that affects your children, right? Then they deal with like mental health issues, and then people are wondering why is my kid going through mental health issues? But it's because of these unconscious things, like you sleeping around when you were like 17 years old because you weren't thinking straight, or you ended up with a girl who had like, I don't know, she was into like some really weird ass music, and like she was into like zodiac signs, and now that kind of stuff is unconsciously being pushed onto her kids, and maybe the woman that you end up marrying will push promiscuity to her kids, and they don't really care about the kids doing whatever, or maybe she doesn't love the children as much because her pair bonding abilities are lower. I know this sounds like crazy stuff, but all this stuff adds up. And for you to be like, oh, I'm not gonna cheat on this exam because it's not ethical, you don't see long term what actually is what these people in power are doing that is 20 times more unethical. And this thing that you're doing isn't really even unethical, it's just pushing you further to be able to succeed, to get out of this freaking rat hole that they want to trap you in, where you end up being with a promiscuous woman who doesn't care about their children. Then your last name dies out. And I won't allow that for me, right? And this is just something really, really important that I've been thinking about, and it made me think like I knew I wasn't like gonna pin Retta, but like obviously like Retta's a good example if like you're someone who is like struggling, right, with like weight loss, and even maybe you don't have the personality like me, and like you really are like obsessed with food, right? But like for example, I'm gonna pin like melanotan 1. And why am I pinning that? Because I mean I do tan, but like I don't tan like an incredible amount, and if I do tan with melanotan 1 with the help of it, then I'm gonna look better, right? I'm gonna probably ascend like a solid, I don't know, 1/4 of a tier or some shit, which will make a difference in my life, and I'll be treated better, at work, and then that'll allow me to get a better kind of woman long term if I add all these things up, if I become more intelligent, if I become more well-rounded, if I start making YouTube videos and these videos pop off, right? If I start putting posts on my Instagram, like just everything just boosting the SMV, and you want to do everything to be able to boost this SMV. And right, like I don't want you like doing like really immoral stuff. Like I don't know, like I don't really know what something that would be like super immoral would be. Maybe like cucking your friend, like taking your friend's like girlfriend or some shit. Maybe that might be like an example of like something immoral. I mean, I don't know. That one's not even. Maybe that's kind of depends. If he's like a best friend, yeah. But if it's like a friend, I don't think it's that big of a deal. But like I don't know, like you like while you're studying your ass off, there's a guy using ChatGPT in the back of the room taking a picture of the exam, and and so many people will come up with the cope of like, oh well, I'm learning the information. He's not. Yeah, you're learning a bunch of information that you're gonna forget in a month, and I doubt it's gonna help you out that much because there's guys making a bunch of money and they don't know jack shit about a single subject in school. But you want to stress yourself out to become an investment banker and work 100 hours a week, which is you're actually getting paid less hourly because it's like, it should be like 40 hours a week, right? And then like, I'm sure you'll end up with like great connections, but it's still like torturing your body for some stupid ass company. And there's people and there's loopholes inside the bank where like while you're torturing yourself making all these presentations, there's a guy in there just doing insider trading. And you can say, like, oh, that's so immoral, right? And like insider trading, of course, it's immoral, but like this is what these people are doing to get ahead, to get the woman that you want. And everybody in the end, they'll say it's unethical, whatever. In the end, they'll always say it was strategy. So if let's say you take someone's business, you learn everything about their company and whatever, and then you take it for yourself and you start competing with them, and everybody will say like, oh, but you worked for them, right? Like that was really immoral for you to do. Here's the thing, man. It's player versus player, and eventually they'll say that it's wrong. 2 years later, after the lawsuit's done, they'll say, oh, it was just strategy. The guy was strategic, and then the guy makes a bunch of money and ends up winning, and the woman's attracted to him and doesn't really even care what happened, what they did, right? And you can say like you're going against your word. You're not like a man of God, dude. It's not like you don't know what your ancestors went through to put you on this planet. You don't understand what your ancestors had to do unethically to be able to pass on their lineage, to like in order to survive. They would be tortured, like murdered, just extreme physical conditions of like super winter cold with no clothing, right? They would do anything to pass on the DNA so that you could be at where you are right now, and you're scared to cheat on some stupid ass freaking math test because you think it's immoral, when they did everything to keep on the lineage. So when I put that into perspective, I realize, yeah, I have to do pretty much almost anything to ascend and get where I want, right? And for me, I guess like the main things I think about melanotan 1, but that's not even that bad. It's not even immoral, right? I just like postpone that for a while because like I don't want to put drugs in my body. Look, man, you gotta do what you gotta do to look better. I don't know, like stuff like fixing teeth, right? Like fixing teeth is hard for me because like every time I like bond them, like it like screws up like my bite and everything. So like I don't know if I could do that, but like getting super lean, like retatrutide, right? Or like Accutane, or like it's not even immoral stuff, but like cheating on exams to try to get into a better college, right? Or like hiring like tutors to get into like a great SAT score. Or like I'm so not saying like really immoral stuff, but like I don't know, like people will say like a 28-year-old talking to like an 18-year-old is like, well, that's really, really bad, but like I don't know if okay, maybe I'll just say it's whatever. It's like, I mean, she obviously is like gonna be more like pure. She's not gonna have like all these promiscuous like habits that a lot of these older women have, and that could keep your lineage stronger because maybe you'll train your kids to be less promiscuous as well, and it'll also obviously like from 18 to like 22, like obviously like the woman's gonna be the most like highest fertility levels, right? And like obviously they might end up the most attractive, the children, and it's like little stuff like this, or like I don't know, like doing like some kind of like shady money kind of thing to be able to make more money so you could buy better food for your family so that they could live longer and also be healthier and also have more bone mass so they could be more and so they could be better looking, so everything could be better. And then you make this money, and you could say it was made immorally, and then you donate a bunch of it to charity. And then who are you, a bad person at that point, right? There's like so much gray area, and I know it's like I'm a Catholic guy, right? And like everything that I'm saying, I feel like it's saying like I'm like going against the Bible, and I feel like it's good I'm even thinking about this stuff because most people wouldn't even like give a shit, right? However, you got to really do what it takes to get out on top, because these other people won't have any mercy. I'm telling you, you're in the animal kingdom. That's it.